the first match.
And once you know, it's Krakoa. Everybody, welcome to the Hellfire Gala. We've got a full show today as the Mag and Emma band trade-off is happening as we speak. Not mixing up too much here from the huge.
Again, going forward, though, SHROUD-X looking to protect. I'm wondering maybe one of the strategies. Oh, it's going to be the Magneto. Yeah, Magneto obviously coming out from the gates immediately here. Going to be understandable considering that they won't be able to have Emma Frost. Same thing from the other side here. Loki's going to be that next band, though, looking at Nightmare.
Yeah, Loki's always good to get rid of. I know Nuck has played a great Loki as well as both Fidel and him can play a mean Loki. But I like that they did shut down the Mag. Aurora did a great job, but Aurora also played Emma. So they can do both too. They don't need one or the other. And so, you know, you're going to get one of those two with this new system.
And you know that once the Emma is active too, you have to consider the mental projection that we've already seen within 3 series today alone. Torch is going to be the next one banned, though. Some homework being done on the side of SHROUD-X.
Juker fans are in shambles. They wanted their Juker playing Human Torch. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but maybe we'll get it on the next map. We do have Wolf being banned. Doomed plays a disgusting Wolverine, so that's obviously a bit of a target there. Vision can play him as well, but we definitely see a little bit of target banning going on right now. These teams have done their homework.
All right, this is what to expect going into the second week. Everybody's played their matches respectfully. What to see and what to study here is the Invisible Woman. It is the 3rd ban for Red Team.
Yeah, Micah's going to be playing Cloak. We've seen that now time after time. Great Cloak and Dagger player and very solid at what they do. Invisible Woman getting banned and the save themselves for Cloak, which once again we saw Fidel play Cloak and just completely pop off.
You get an Eternal Bond. You get an Eternal Bond. Everyone will be safe in the Eternal Bond. That is to say, the team, though, that is able to rock the Magneto looking at SHROUD-X will be able to have a little bit more of that tip of aggression when it comes to these meteors against the Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, no Juker Nova for now, but he did play a pretty mean Adam Warlock, and I think SHROUD-X knew they were going to go up against a res comp. Funny enough, history finds a way to repeat itself. Nemesis played the res comp against them in the first dom, and they had to eliminate them twice. Again, they get that free revive, Adam, Mantis, and Star-Lord, and so it's kind of the same story they saw up in the upper bracket.
And luckily for them, though, they have gotten a good amount of practice against that res comp, seeing how that's going to play out. First map, of course, starts off on Domination 2, as if once again, we are making our way to Krakoa to start off our last series of the day.
Absolutely. Again, first map always Dom. Second map is Loser's Choice as we enjoy the sunset here on the final match of today. Looking just at the fireworks that are going to be for one of these teams while the other go home and send. Oh, you get a little friend joined up too, ready for the action. The show's about to start.
Getting his little buddy out here to witness the fireworks, the performance that's already about to be put onto your screens here. It's been a fantastic day of matches. Nightmare versus SHROUD-X to end the day here.
Yeah, W to all the observers and spectators. Just a shout out to them. Great job behind the scenes as we start things off. Hydron on that Strange. He's excited. He's bringing the fight to them with that triple res comp. Here comes the action.
Oh, opening things before letting everyone jump through, before looking behind them here. Just trying to find an angle up on the high ground instead.
Yeah, and if you play Groot, I want you to watch Impunity. I'm telling you guys, this man is a lethal tree. It just completely dominates damage. Matches what those of Duelists can pump out. Now we do have Vision here on the turret. Right away sees the Vision to get the E-limbs to open up that point. Can they open and get a strong start? Again, they do have to deal with the reses, so they've got to win twice, Vic.
And they dealt with the turret at the very least here, and also understanding what they need to do to cycle through those ultimates once they have to deal with the second wave of res comp shenanigans. Nightmare just kind of caught awake here. Aurora putting in the damage, boosting up that beam to 100. Have to worry about it as C4 was already first picked, already comes back, and currently Vision, being that MVP player that we keep highlighting here, just keeps putting in the pressure here for SHROUD-X.
We're seeing right here, Vision's getting those picks, but then they revive, and then Juker did get the elimination to trade. Doom, though, is going to take out Juker. Juker revives, but it's SHROUD-X doing what they did last time against Nemesis on Dom. They're able to get multiple elimination after elimination. The point is almost Nightmares, but here comes the Agamotto from Hydron, and he's able to kind of change it up a bit, but Doom finishes off Sleep.
Yamamoto is crazy. Off of that there too. They immediately try to retake the point. Nightmare single-handedly off that combo, off the contest here from Hydron, allows him to take that point first.
Hydron has put out some of the craziest magic we've seen. In magic, I mean through Doctor Strange and the Agamottos, and he's pumped out. I gotta say, the entire Avengers cast gotta be proud of him at that point, because that fight was about to be lost, and he was able to flip that insane job. We do have Final Judgment, though, with the entanglement from Groot, and we've got the support to follow. This is about to be a lot of ults here, Vic, for the team fight.
Get ready here. They start off with the prison and the psionic seduction right afterwards, but with nothing to help them out here. Juker's trying to hide in the corner with the res. It's found 3. They're half health here too, but they try to look for the re-engage. Hydron just backing away just a little bit. This gives more time to SHROUD-X just to keep their feet here on the point, but now they have to worry about the legendary.
Yeah, good res there, keeping everybody alive. Dongmin trying to play a little bit defense there from the legendary to counter that completely. And just like that, Dongmin is doing a great job getting rid of the fight and getting the elims of final hits and putting the period. That is the statement of capping that point. Great job there from SHROUD-X.
And that was with them shutting down the legendary attempt from Nightmare. Great way to just reposition themselves before they were able to retake the point and holding this more forward position here thanks to that Groot helping them out.
Thunder Groot is just the most polite crowd control in the business and the deadliest.
Can't even get mad, not even a little bit, before Impunity just starts putting on an onslaught of damage with these Groot walls. So then you can get just a little bit mad here. Fidel does have that invisible boundary, taking in a lot of damage here. It's going to start things off with Micah going to be able to use that Eternal Bond.
Look for the Agamotto. Hydron's about to have it yet again. It's online, ready to go. The pressure's on. The Terror Cape is out, and here it goes. They got the block and the 5-piece. Here's Hydron pumping off once again.
Oh, and then the falls right afterwards there, too. Doom then looks at the rest of his team wondering, where did everyone go? Well, you can ask Hydron that question. SHROUD-X then get deleted. It's another reset as Nightmare retake.
Absolute beauty. I mean, even with ults firing away Hydron, I mean, he is known as the duelist, the lethal duelist, but it doesn't matter. He's playing such an elite stranger. Look at Aurora as well. Just double Vanguard madness. And Vision doing a great job there down below for SHROUD-X. 55%, 67%. This is anybody's map, Vicky.
Now trying to retake here, having that Strangling Prison available, looking at Impunity as he opens up with that, finds 2 immediately in it, and then the wobble column from Vision to immediately activate that Judgment does find Hydron. The problem here, as Nightmare forced it back away, losing out on Juker, there's going to be SHROUD-X just retaking this point for now.
Yeah, they did a good job staying alive, though, through that final Judgment and Vision. You know, I am kind of I'm impressed with that job. But the portal coming right away from Hydron. He wants more of this heat, this action. He's halfway to the Agamotto, just in case you're checking. We should have an Agamotto lower thirds, keeping track of that at all times as they jump into the point for the next match.
Oh, and they immediately also jump Nook and Fidel here. Vision's the next one to fall like a pair of dominoes. Nightmare now just slowly move forward, and they look like they're just splitting the attention from Shot and also just trying to force them to reposition and isolate them.
I mean, that was a perfect example. Sleep got eliminated, Rezzed, and then eliminated, Doomed. Like, it's just so hard to contest with triple res and the constant crazy chaos that you have to unfold. You have to play near perfect, especially in domination, to get the job done. 82, 83%. They have to lock in. We've got a lot of ults to res. Look for Juker. Can he hide? Can he get it off? That's going to be the big point of the fight.
Just wait for it, taking away. Got less than 9 seconds now, and Nightmare got everything in the bank for them. The Psionic Seduction is the first, though. Forced out here. SHROUD-X, though, just holding these different corners, and now Nook using the Eternal Bond as Nightmare trying to answer back with the Agamotto. Sleepy then follows up. Micah finds that pick onto Dogman here. Nightmare having the body advantage.
Great Agamotto, but Nook did keep the team alive there with the Eternal Bomb, but each team trading, and Hydra picking up where he left off. I mean, you heard of Doctor Strange. This is Doctor straight up diff. Incredible job. Nightmare takes the first point.
Dude, that's Sleep A, by the way. I saw that Mantis popping up on that KO feed, literally clocking heads out here, too. Beautiful flow from Nightmare for that first round.
Yeah, no AI needed from Sleep there. Putting people to sleep himself. Great job on that team. And the entire, I mean, look at just the performance from everybody. Lights out. Micah again with that MVP, getting 17,000 healing. Map 1. If you're SHROUD-X here, I think you played well. You have to play perfect, Vicky, against Rez. It's just such a tough matchup.
Yeah, you have to be ready on where they're going to be able to come right back in, so that way you can at least put in more pressure through those certain chokes. And Hydron's been pretty on top of it, and combine that with the Emma Frost, it's enough CC to just force them to trickle and essentially in that congested spot be side by side just to allow Aurora to follow up.
Yeah, great point there. And again, lights out for both these teams who want it so badly. The doors are about to open. One team in Portal Land, save it. We'll see what's about to happen for map number 2. And again, they're going to just have to have laser focus on Juker at all times. Juker's got that res, can keep the fight alive. But SHROUD-X has plenty in the tank here with the invisible boundary into the Meteor M.
Good point here. Though having that invisible boundary, though, may be the key in just trying to retake this point first. Very crazy to see how Hydra was able to reset. C4 will be able to come right back with the res comp and Unity putting in onslaught of damage here. And Dogman also does have that Meteor ready to go, just looking to see where Nightmare is going to do here.
Yeah, C4 already used his ult, so he doesn't have to save it for the defense if he doesn't want to. 29% now for C4, so they don't have to have it. Impunity, though, with that entanglement. There's the board again for Juker. Do they have eyes on him? Dogman going down, though, to Emma. That's going to be a crucial wipe.
Oh, but off that res there too, Sleeping just comes right back as well. Even with Impunity, though, putting in all this damage, Doom to follow up. It took everything from SHROUD-X just to put in the damage before they were able to come right back together. But the Psionic Seduction still allows them to keep contesting on this point versus Shroud.
Insane ultimate from Impunity there, getting everybody together and Doom to finish them off. Great job, but it just did not hinder it. The point hasn't even been capped yet, as we're just having both teams fight relentlessly here on the point. SHROUD-X trying to take it now. We've got the portal out for C4, and there it is. Impunity, though, finishing it off and trying to get this point for themselves. They are going to cap.
Hydron showing up to the party late off that portal after he was taken out earlier in the fight, just to be met with Vision once again.
Yeah, and a lot of momentum here for SHROUD-X. They could set up. Vision plays a lot better when they're not trying to get the point, but he could set up and get in these off angles. Maybe hide behind a tree stump. But great job from Impunity, not only getting that team fight win, but now he's charged up back to 60%, ready to go. We have Legendary online, and Dogman does not have the defensive ult. That's going to be huge.
Well, that's a good point here, too. Also looking on the other side, Vision having that Goddess of Death to see Hydron here, who's got the Eye of Agamotto, looking to try to get into position now as Doom activates the Omega Hurricane. Legendary now comes in to just retaliate. Aurora's going to be able to find Impunity. It's a trade-off off of Sleep A, though, who will go down without taking advantage of the Solar Surgeon that could have come up that fight.
Ooh, it's a trade of strategists. If you're a strategist, man, you're feeling bad for these people out here. Both strategists going down, but guess what, Vicky? One has the res. They can revive from the passive. The other cannot. C4, great job with that Legendary, and Juker picking up the scraps.
And Juker been in a good position, too. Has that res available as well after getting everybody right back together here. And Nightmare, once again, reaching that 15% threshold looking at Shroud.
Look at these shots. I mean, Juker... I get why Juker Nation is thriving and alive out there. Hydron, though, ready to go. He is ready to get that Agamotto. He's thirsty. We know he's feeling it. Ready to pop the eye. Will he right here to open up the fight? C4 almost going down to initiate things.
Well, you can tell from a mile away when the Doctor Strange is hungry for it. They usually come from the skies, but backing away, though, realizing not the situation for it, at least just yet. C4, he comes back again and again. It's a zombie comp, I like to see it. And now with the Cloak and Dagger Eternal Bond, the Magneto ult, the Eye of Agamotto. Yes, you found Sleep A. Hydron, though, doesn't get the impact justice as it comes right back off the res. Here comes the ult and Vision to follow up with the final hit onto Aurora again.
Yeah, he's been 3 for 3 on Agamotto so far. Finally, one does not get the full connection that they wanted there. Great job from Nuck trying to keep everybody alive with the Eternal Bomb, but they don't need it. Juker's got just the Scepter, and he's going to get the elims on the neutral there. Great job. Now, they have what they need to hold things off here, too. Nightmare's got the res. They've got the Emerald as well, and C4 about to get that Legendary once again, and Dogman only have 40% to counter it. This could be it, honestly, for this map for SHROUD-X.
Looking at the way that Doom's about to get this Omega Hurricane, too. How are you going to be able to burst through this when C4 has the answer as well with that Legendary? Sleep A's about to get that Soul Resurgence here, too. Taking away now, you're at 84, 85% and counting, and Impunity is the first one to make the move with these Groot Walls.
Here comes Legendary. They're doing it again at the same time. We just saw this Omega Hurricane into Legendary. Takes out Vision first. That's the key DPS who didn't get to use. Oh my goodness, this could be the bit of the map here if he's able to get another Elim. Hydron capitalizing on Doom. Both duelists out of the fight. No res to be had for them, and they're going to clean up the strategist. Just trying to stay alive, Vicky. Just trying to stay alive in that cloak bubble.
And with the overtime ticking away, though, trying to stay alive, maybe through the Eye of Agamotto, while Hydron has a good amount of fun to take that round.
Surprise! It's the Eye, and Hydron just really picked up where they left off. I'm telling you, this team had to just get the bright lights out of their way, because in the upper bracket, it just wasn't going their way, and they've looked completely different. Like Techie down here in the lower bracket home, honestly, great, phenomenal job for them. Triple Res just too tough to work with.
It's hard, and I also feel like Nightmare and the changes that they've made, that I love that you keep highlighting, is the perfect example of how good Marvel Rivals is when it comes to not having role locks and allowing people to thrive in other different positionings. Like, I feel like the first iteration that we saw Nightmare, we had like Pancake out there on Vanguard. We made swaps. Now Hydron being able to play that flex role, playing that Vanguard, enabling Aurora. Juker too went from being that torch, that crazy torch, to being able to adapt and being on that Adam Warlock here. A lot could be said here. Even C4 being on that Star-Lord to enable that res comp, but it's crazy.
Yeah, look at the Vanguard stats too from every single player of the Vanguard on that map. Just great damage, insane final hits. SHROUD-X played well too. It's not like they played awful. It's just the ults were just not met with the same vengeance, and obviously not being able to get them eliminated twice. But Hydron just lethal eyes, and I don't think they'll do the Strange ban, but who knows? After that performance, it would look a lot different if Hydron was not on Strange.
Wait, that's actually not a bad idea, considering like that's what we've seen the impact from Hydron all the time. Like, from these changes from Nightmare alone, being on that Doctor Strange has made a difference here too, but it also has opened things up for Nightmare as we get to take a look. You mentioned SHROUD-X, putting that damage output, vision, and
we see Arako once again as the map. Such a fun one to see. They can't let Juker play Torch on this map. There's no way they allow that.
Dude, they have to get rid of that. Like, we're gonna see the Juker Nova really come out, though. Oh, the double Emma ban also. Not so surprised, because this is another map that I feel like with those walls around you, those tighter corridors, really allow her to shine.
Yeah, you can get that kick off the maps too in diamond form. So unfortunately this time around, Aurora not going to be able to play that Emma, who again played high level there. Very good job. Loki being banned, and that's such a key ban for them. Before Loki was, all the hot and popular hero that he is now. Again, Nuck and Fidel did such an insane job on him. So much hours of practice only to be banned away. Now they're gonna do the same favor back to them with the Loki ban.
Okay, see here what we're gonna get in store for us. I want to see SHROUD-X really come through with the penny. I feel like you could try to get away with it a little bit at the very beginning here, depending on what side you're on, specifically if you're on that defense side, before making some swaps here. Also having those teleporters around Racco just make it so fun to play off of repositioning, but we do see the Cloak and Dagger ban as well as the Wolverine from the other side.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The Wolverine ban is so good because of what Hydron's able to do with Doctor Strange. You get rid of Wolf, you get rid of a lot of the worry, especially in the hands of Doomed and how good he is at the hero. So getting rid of that is just the perfect counter for them. They got the Luna save as well, massive. And there it is. We've got Mantis at least getting out of the show to help shut down a little bit of that triple res.
Okay, all right. Especially with the damage output that we also saw from Mantis. We didn't highlight Sleep Phase stats, but 11.5k damage output on the Mantis is to be expected, of course, how aggressive that you could play that hero, and looking to save the Cloak and Dagger as well from SHROUD-X side.
We just highlighted Micah, and Micah's not going to be able to play Cloak and Dagger this time around, as we got our final bans. And Punisher also being banned, which is kind of big, but Vision does like plenty of other DPS. So Vision could go with a number of duelists, but Hella is what I expect here.
Yeah, but they still allow the torch to come out on this map. All right, get settled, get the fire blanket out or so, because Juker is about to do some Juker things.
Yeah, and that was probably the big decision for them. What are they going to do here? They're going to get the Cloak and Dagger ban. A lot of respect shown there, because that could have been potentially, I guess, the Torch ban. But, they know what they're going to bring. And we got the Fly Show here to show plenty of air action, as we have Juker on Torch, who got them to this spot they are today. But I would say Vision can play just about anybody. Incredible flex hero and duelist. And so we're going to see Torch on Torch.
I love how you highlight that, because we've seen Vision actually play that Ultron, Punisher, obviously the Hela that we just saw too, Torch as they were hovering right over it too. So having that flexibility also helping out SHROUD-X in this equation as we take a look at how we're going to get started.
Both teams ready up, and Doomed and how he plays on Psylocke is going to be one of the key things to watch here for the difference maker. Can he get behind that back line? Can he cause nightmares like we saw with Ego Death and create a nightmare for Nightmare? Here we go. Nightmare versus Shroud-X, and Vision is in the sky.
I feel like I'm living in a paradox. Or is it going to be the sleep paralysis demon here for Nightmare with the way that they've been playing around Shroud-X? Vision already getting a good amount of pressure going here and just these open sight lines by the bridge side, but they're trying to prevent Nightmare from setting up on this high ground once you get around the next corner.
Yeah, a lot of pressure and control of the high ground and establishing the air space is all important in war, and here in Marvel Rivals as Aura now trying to get that poke damage and keep the team back. I love the use of the portals here. This is one of the best maps to do so. Hydron, though, now backing up. Got that mag shield ready, and these ults are already charging up fast. We're about to get right to our first huge ult fight.
The fact that you can just get to that slight high ground thanks to that portal there too just allows you to reposition nicely. But then looking around, a nice little sandwich here followed up between Vision and Doomed. Seaforth is the first to go out from Nightmare.
Yeah, that sidelock pick on an Ultron is massive there. Insanely good job from there. And Juker, though, doing what he does best, getting rid of Doomed in return. We do have the Invisible Boundary coming up with the Gruul. Impunity, can they get the finish? And Vision and Dogman do just that.
And through the Invisible Boundary, the just amount of damage coming out together. Shroud-X trying to ride off this momentum, shake off what happened in the first map.
Yeah, I speak Groot here. It's coming in now live. He said, I am Groot, or your entire team is deleted.
Is that the nice way for him to say it?
Yeah, he always has manners behind it.
So what is it, like silent but deadly? I feel like just the Groot with not so many words not needed to be said here, especially with the way that Impunity plays him.
Silent but deadly is amazing. I want like a bow tie Groot skin, like the polite Groot. All right, we've got Vision up in the sky, getting that pressure ready, and look at the ults on both teams. The economy for Nightmare, they're ready to rock as point one went fast.
Micah, I got all eyes right here on that fate of both worlds to determine how they want to be able to counter the Supernova here from Vision. Doomed, of course, looking for an opportunity to go into that back line. Into the Butterflies ready to go, but the Supernova is going to be activated from both ends at the same time. The Meteor now coming in to find itself on the other side of the Fire Tornado while getting put into position. The fate of both worlds, no Meteors found, and Hydra, when everyone was busy, tries to wrap around and use the Eye of Agamotto.
A mirror matches of ultimates, but also executions. There was nothing done across the board. They Dogman again, trying to get that ultimate in the sky for that meteor in, but it did miss. The torch narrowly getting away as Doom also not connecting. There's so much happening in terms of ult with none of them connecting, but Impunity looks to change that as he gets the 1, 2, 3, 4 piece. Make it 5.
I was gonna say, it's kind of hard to miss, at least following up from that strangling prison, and Impunity had set them up what they were trying to back away from the type of damage that they were facing.
Oh. Groot does not talk much, but his ult speaks volumes, Vicky. It's a fantastic job there from Impunity.
It's very deep. I could understand everything. It's almost like a therapy session out here once I hear the I am Groot. I just understand how Impunity is trying to approach this, just wrapping around with the rest of Shroud-X. Just going to be able to try to cross the distance by the bridge and try to prevent Nightmare from trying to set up here.
They got a full day on the clock here, too. 4 minutes and 40 seconds. They're pushing through the third point now to the third point. I mean, this is as good as kind of a wake-up call as you could get from Shroud-X as they drop the dom match of that triple res. They kind of figure things out here, and they're just going to rely on their play. But we saw this with Nemesis, too, and how they performed. Now they got to seal the deal.
I love that angle from Dogman, by the way. Just playing off the lip out of the line of sight of Nightmare, but still providing more pressure there before they're forced to drop down. And Shroud-X are just trying to get through the car wash at this point. Playing off the low ground here as Aurora does have that Meteor available. Hydron's got the Eye of Agamotto, maybe trying to set up, coming in from the high ground here. As Shroud, though, are going to be able to answer back with the Eternal Bond just to allow them to stay alive right through the Invisible Boundary. And here comes the Eye of Agamotto, going to be able to find 3. Vision the first to go down. Dogman meets him back in the spawn. Impunity then has a deal from the other side here, too. And Nightmare just able to re-stabilize.
Oh, man, I was trying to hold back my laughter because Vision, as Torch was just trying to get to that boundary, and he was like an inch away before he got eliminated. Unfortunately, from the Agamotto, huge as always. I draw and do what he does best. Love Groot, though, on this map. I think it really creates so much space that you need, especially with all the air chaos with torches.
Especially right here, too, when you have to play off that slight low ground, you need to force this team off the high ground. This positional advantage, unless you take a different angle, as Doomed is already doing alongside Vision. They got some ultimates here. Impunity also has that Strangling Prison ready to unleash here. Nightmare playing on the edge, too, expecting it at this point with Vision also having that Supernova.
Yeah, kind of like strange. You can tell the same with Groot when he's about to ult. What's about to happen is they drop down from the low ground. Love that play. C4 though going up in the sky. Goddess of Death throwing those crows down. We saw this kind of cycle in the last match as they go into that cavern of protection, if you will, Vicky. And no one getting eliminated. Great patience there from SHROUD-X.
And literally the car wash there. Just going to take their time extra hard to make sure the trees are squeaky clean to avoid the Goddess of Death. Have all ultimates available. They haven't needed to utilize it just yet, but around this brute wall, there's nowhere to run. Aurora's stuck. You can't go anywhere, and no one can even shoot at the brute walls because the whole team is being pressed by Dogman. Here comes a strangling prison, the Eye of Agamotto, but it's like a shish kebab with the way that Nightmare is falling.
Every single ult's on the screen at once. If you know what's happening, you're lying. It's a whole color show as we've got Coachella with the Luna Snows behind, the tornadoes in the sky, and Vision now trying to make way, get the picks needed. Nuck, though, getting a one, not one, but two, and that could do it. They get the point and win.
Said it looks like Coachella. SHROUD-X, they brought the laser show out here. They had to let Nightmare know that last map, no res comp here. All right, well now they'll be able to lock in.
Yeah, that was insane at the end there. I don't know how anyone. That was like a Marvel movie's climax, right? The very end of Infinity War showcase before our very eyes. If I'm SHROUD-X, and we just saw this with Ego, but if I'm them, I'm like, all right, well that's the wake up call we needed. And to be honest, Vicky, they were doing great on domination, but they had to win twice, right? And that was just obviously not going to happen.
It was really hard. Again, when you have to just deal with literally zombies coming at you in waves, having to work around that now and making those adjustments, I just feel like we saw such great follows between the group. Dogman, too, in terms of positioning. I feel like that last point, once you have to get through that bridge, through that car wash on that low ground, is a testament in terms of prioritizing positioning.
Oh my goodness. Well, Juker fans, he's doing his job up above. But honestly, a huge hero here is Doomed. Doom got some clutch eliminations there with Psylocke. Like right before fights happened, it was quick, it was fast, and it happened before you knew it. Impunity, though, swapping over to Doctor Strange here instead of the Groot. These Vanguards putting on a absolute show here. Stats across the board, pretty crazy.
Wondering here, looking at Nightmare, Hydron being on that Magneto, maybe not being able to find that consistency with the Doctor Strange. Not so surprised with the impact that Magneto has if it's available here. SHROUD-X going to be able to now have that impunity, like you mentioned, being on that Doctor Strange, just to try to answer back after the action that we saw. Dogman's just stunned briefly in this time, and it's just the duking it out here off the spawn gates just to see who gets their first footing.
Yeah, and SHROUD-X can't play Wolverine, but Juker can. They did not get the ban off in there. That's going to be a great answer. Maybe that's why we saw Impunity switch over, even though Strange can struggle as well, but still not a bad pick there. C4, though, getting that pick on Vision and getting rid of that triple Vanguard play. We saw triple Vanguard before. Teams like to push up so they get multiple chances on this point, but that allows the other team to build up that old charge, and Mike is doing just that.
Yeah, SHROUD-X has the rocket, and they have the Sia, but they already used up that BRB once Vision was the first to fall, which means Impunity couldn't take it right afterwards, and it's going to be another wipe now as Nightmare finally take them out.
Not seeing Hydron on Strange is like throwing me off now at this point. Like just so much great Strange play from him. Getting a little portal action here for SHROUD-X as they jump right back into the team fight. Doomed now taking over that torch role, just showcasing how flexible this entire team is. Vision on Thing is crazy to me, to be honest. I love the triple Vanguard, but just this man's talent on this is kind of crazy. But there it is. We got Hydron trying to get the pick, and it's not the same as those Agamottos.
Literally just swinging in as the triple Vanguard attempt we're currently seeing from SHROUD-X. You answer with C4 having that Omega Hurricane, and now it's forced out Fate of Both Worlds as C4 just gets shut down the moment you peek around that next corner.
Yeah, awesome ult economy for SHROUD-X right now. Fidel on point there with the Fate of Both Worlds. And now we've got an Agamotto and the Meteorium ready to counter. That was a clinic put on just now from SHROUD-X. Great defensive hold.
And the fact that with this triple Vanguard, they're still able to put in this damage out because no one's looking at Doomed in the sky who's just harassing them. C4 now being on the Storm, it's going to be the one to try to contest that of Doomed.
Yeah, like what they have here in there. Plenty in the arsenal. All you need is that big Wolverine hit, but there's the Agamotto happening, and it's not from Hydron, but the other way, and it doesn't. Hydron took it personally. He got rid of that Strange immediately.
Agamotto literally just went blind right there. He couldn't do anything. Juker now coming in, gonna be able to get the kidnap off of Videl, who was already one-shot, by the way, and it's just slicing as Nightmare move up.
Juker was about to take Videl off the map, but just got eliminated through threw that quick pick there, but no, that was hilarious to see Hydron get that Agamotto on him, and he's like, no, that's my thing. All right, get out of here.
It's about statements, man. Immediately off the play here, and now the Magneto ultimate, the Meteor, trying to find its mark. Duker juking right back to his team, though. Nice safety around that next corner to stay alive.
That's the same spot that Dogman did it like earlier with that Magneto. I'm telling you, it's like his weakness, this one spot of the map. As we have the shields up, Doom, though, getting rid of Juker is going to be a big pick they need, but Hydra, can he make the difference? He has great ult potential, but unfortunately, these Vanguards, they're beefy, they're chunky, and they do not go down easily as Doom takes out Micah and Punity trades with C4.
Because Doom has just wrapped around them with the Supernova and the damage output. They successfully find themselves on this defense right around that next corner, preventing Nightmare from getting anything done.
Dude, this is just what we saw against SHROUD-X on the upper bracket. This is how they lost. They were able to get... The Nemesis was able to defend at the last second. There's only 30 seconds left, guys. This is all they have to do to make it 1-1 now, and all the ults in favor now of SHROUD-X.
Can this repeat itself here? Clover in time activated for Vision. He's got it online before backing away, but they have the strategist ult to help them stay alive between the fate of both worlds as well as the Eternal Bond.
Here comes the Silent Assassin as well. Punity, there it is. I was waiting for the lineup. And we've got the skies opening up, and Fidel getting rid of making it clear skies here in Araco as the big pick is going to open up Tonic. Clobbering time, and the tanks fall down and take it with ease. What is going to be map number 2, SHROUD-X making it 1-1.
I said, this time I don't need to land this Meteor on anything because we've cleared the point already. Great looks here from SHROUD-X.
Yeah, we just saw that same song and dance from Ego Death, right? Like, they struggled a lot in the first map, and then it was just a completely other team that we saw. And SHROUD-X, like, they got the practice against Nemesis on that map, and they played that to perfection, getting like that was insane, both defense and offense wise. Numbers, all of it, 1-1.
It's also like, I feel like Araco just plays such a heavy part into that too. Just playing out that terrain so well, especially in that first point. And the triple Vanguard really helping them out.
Yeah, look at us, Vicky. Two 1-1s, 2-2-1 games. I mean, we're eating good, viewers. We're eating good. Impunity was one of my players of the week, and he just shows it time after time. But honestly, lights out across the board there. And Vision, man, I said thing I wasn't crazy on, but he was dominant. That triple Vanguard is just so much to deal with at times, and we're seeing it right here. There's the group hug.
Group hug, I love that. And then the follow-up, like everyone was popping their ultimates to just mirror one another, and there was no trades going on until that moment where now everyone's stuck in place. There is no other choice but to land everything.
Yeah, without question. I mean, again, Groot's silent, but that ult can just completely be a tide turner. And, you know, I hope Idron goes back to Strange. We'll see if they end up changing things up. They got rid of that res comp, which really helped things up. And they welcomed Juker playing Torch here. I mean, we kind of said that earlier. They were like, you know what? We've got it up our sleeve, too. And here's the thing, Vicky. Vision and Doomed play Torch at different times. So, like, they can both play.
That's very true, actually. Having that flexibility being huge there, too. A Hydron even making some desperate swaps at the very end, you know, once we got to see that approach. But between the Magneto, I know we saw Aurora at the very beginning with that Magneto belief so at the on their defense, but it was just more so.
Cards up their sleeve, right? You get rid of one, and in this case, you get rid of Impunity's Groot, and guess what? He's got something else potentially. We saw that with Juker and Adam, and now on Torch. As we lock back in, same bands, same pick, same map. And these teams are ready to go here as we look at what is locked in. We've got a little bit of a fly comp here with C4th and Juker. I like the Venom potential play too, here too.
Are we finally going to get it? You know, I was hyping it up a little bit during map number 1, I think, before we even got started. I was wondering if we're going to maybe see the penny coming out from SHROUD-X. We're going to have to wait and find out our final map of the day, our final map for our final series.
Yeah, man. Again, we just were building up anticipation. And Clintar, what a way to put a swan song. That has been a crazy day 5 here in Rivals. And if you think the action is hot now, we've got more chaotic matches happening tomorrow that we'll discuss. But right here, right now, it's SHROUD-X. It's Nightmare. 10 seconds for these teams to line up. And Dogman, the Penny Parker, is out. If you guys are ready to see some Penny action, you've come to the right place.
All right, let's see if they get us all excited here. Dogman's going to be able to put on showcase. And of course, when you want to rock Penny here on the defense, really helps out, especially in that narrow passageway. But Hydron's already making the next move with the portal behind SHROUD-X.
Yeah, Impunity back on Magneto, so he doesn't have access to Groot, and they're taking the fight right to them. And oftentimes, you got the portal to use kind of as a pseudo wall, you know, typically to go high ground and competitive ladder here. Nope, you're going to go right on the point. Impunity, though, is going to get that pick immediately on Sleep, taking out the strategist to start the fight while we have the skies open up for Juker, trying to get a pick early.
Oh, taking a good amount of pressure here. Hydron does get the trade onto Impunity, but Nook then gets Aurora. That's 2 out for Nightmare, and the portal play is sent right back to the spawn on the attempt.
Always surviving that initial onslaught is so important. I mean, just absolute chaos with the portal, knowing what you have to do. And I love this right now. Seeing a little pity mine action from Dogman. They've got the little room of safety over there if things get too tense. Vision up here on the turrets. Got the eye in the sky that way.
The penny play. We're getting to see it in 4K now. SHROUD-X Vision popping off currently, as you currently saw on that Doom feed earlier too. Once the attempt came out from Nightmare, Juker being on the Storm, though, going to be able to come in from the skies. Seaforth as well being on that Punisher, but they have to worry about Vision and that Judgment.
Why that fight was so important to win too is that Agamotto's coming, and they're going to have the strategist ults to deal with it now, whereas if they lost the same team fight, it would have snowballed the wrong direction. Juker here trying to get a pick in the sky, pushing the team back, and we've got Spider Time, one of the ultimates of the game that don't make a crazy impact, but right here, going and trying to dance on top of the strategist.
If you can force out a fate of both worlds, it could be nice here, but the Magneto Meteor landing its mark on the bullseye onto Nook here. Can't see if Impunity can do the same thing. He nearly gave by the haircut over Vision. Deals the final blow here onto C4. Call it for everyone. It's a Vision Thanksgiving feast, clearing out the table off of Nightmare.
You just talked about the trump cards, right? You get rid of Groot. Well, Vision's here, and that was insane. Absolute narrowly missing that meteor in, but it doesn't matter because you've got Final Judgment to worry about, and they were able to get rid of all the ultimates to be able to protect it. Great job here from SHROUD-X. Only 1:44 left, but you do have the Eye of Agamotto, and sometimes, as we've seen, that's all you need.
It's going to be enough to deal with this. SHROUD-X doomed, having the dance of butterflies. I've done waiting to get into position. They're waiting for it with the way that they're also holding these different split angles.
Yeah, if Doom can get a pick here before the strategist ults are online, that would be major. He's going to go in for the dance of the butterflies, and he's going to establish at least some pressure and space-making. Impunity is going to get that pick, though, to slow things down, and that's going to just give them all that, again, space they need to set back up.
Beautiful protection from Hydron, awareness to back away with the shield, and from Aurora being on that Magneto to have that bubble to protect the backline for Nightmare.
And Sleep putting up the Invis shields perfectly to protect the Juker in the sky. That's what I'm talking about. Great coordinated play there. Hydron has been waiting, itching, thirsty for the Agamotto. Going up, landing down, not seeing the opportune time quite yet. Impunity up in the sky, gets the connection on Sleep and puts her to sleep.
Oh, off the invisible boundary that gets shut down. Now the fate of both worlds just to make up without the Invisible Woman. This is to start the engagement, but this also gave so much time for SHROUD-X to rotate through their own ultimates. Doom finds Juker. Hydron then trades that against Vision here, still leaving 4 alive as Sleeping makes her way back.
It's tug of war, back and forth, trade ins and out. We have 22 seconds from that point. There's only halfway. We're trying to get in. Dogman's trying to get into this point and try to stall things with Spider Time. Again, one of Rival's most, I would say, underwhelming ultimates. But Nightmare gets that cap. Oh, no!
Wait, right beforehand? Okay, yeah, just, I mean, used up, you know, at the very end, but you can see how desperate Nightmare were. We're just to finally get this moving.
Yeah, I gotta get that if you're Nightmare, so I understand that. We've got a portal placement trying to happen right away. You can have, are they taking the fight? They taking the fight right to them? This is chaos. Look at that, the objective just trying to move through the portal. Unfortunately, that'd be kind of sick if it could go through the portal itself. It cannot, though, ladies and gentlemen, as we have Hydra now taking the fight right to him, and we've got the Dance of the Butterflies backline once again, not getting those connections. Doom finding the good opportunities, but not landing the final hit.
Can't get it, but at least here on the other side, Juker with the rest of Nightmare come out on top on finding Dogman. This forces them back, and that was after Dogman had made the swap off the Penny 2 to the Doctor Strange. Aurora now gonna find Nook following up, and that's gonna be another team fight when Dominating win here. Aurora popping off.
I mean, going crazy in the neutral without ultimates, and they're surviving. I mean, like, that was as well as you could play after a pretty devastating first point there, even though they got the cap. They only have 1:33, one last team fight to try to save the day here. And in terms of ult economy, they got just about nothing. They do have Impunity right here for this fight. Vision, though, we saw what he could do with that Final Judgment. He's about 20% away.
Definitely having some of that with Fidel slowly approaching that fate of both worlds to the next interaction here. Here comes that final judgment, but this time from C4. Nightmare have way more ultimates to work with, but you have to... that meteor just blows up in his hand. Put that thing away as Doom falls afterwards. The follow-up from Juker, adding an extra, more damage coming. The pressure of War now having the meteor doesn't find it smart. Sleepy is able to jump away in that invisibility after using the invisible boundary here, and Vision still being the menace, going up, wrapping around Nightmare, but there's just too much now before SHROUD-X have to worry about the Eye of Agamotto used up on Nightmare, and now with just Micah dancing around on the other side of the point, it's a quick stagger as SHROUD-X are able to get it.
Insane perfect play there. Absolute from both teams. You can see they wanted so bad, and Fidel just making the most out of that fate of both worlds, keeping his team up through the Agamottos. I mean, that was just perfect counterplay there. And we've got only 20 seconds left. This was all Nightmare here on the second point. Can SHROUD-X hold back? They have that Doom opening a game. Will he get that connection on the strategist?
Always maybe this time around. Nightmare don't have any strategist ultimates to try to negate this, though. Wrapping around with just less than 5 seconds on the clock. Desperate times call for desperate measures now as Nook also activates the Eternal Bomb, but the first one to go out is Hydron, and with no answer to the dance of butterflies, they fall like flies.
Oh, yeah, they just ate that up. That was absolute beautiful execution there at the end for SHROUD-X, getting what is a major hold. Nemesis played SHROUD-X on this map and wiped the floor with them. What a great response for SHROUD-X to get things back on track here. And now, you know what you have to do to advance, Vicky, to get and try to punch that ticket to the playoffs.
Oh, and looking at Nightmare at what they could do now, that was... Man, even coming out with nothing, they tried their best when they were on the attack. Now seeing what are the swap-ups off to the other side. We're going to see the Super Juker, the Supernova Juker, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that was just honestly tough play. If it wasn't one, it was the other. And Vision showing his trump card, and while, you know, the rest of their action. Classic spider time, by the way, there from Dogman and Penny Parker. Just classic. I'm telling you, Penny's almost better out of the ult. It's just such a devastating, the mines, all of it. But yeah, what do we think is going to switch up here for Nightmare?
Get ready.
Looking here, the way that we saw the approach off the Punisher just getting a lot of impact from Vision specifically. Looking at the fact that you have 18,000 damage and 9 final hits, it's that DPS diff being able to make that difference, honestly. Vision just being different here, and Doomball splitting the attention away from the back line. It just allows Vision to get into a much better positioning with the turret.
Oh, man, this is bound to be a great last bit here. Put yourself in their shoes, guys. This is win, get in, and continue your journey. Lose, go home, pack the bags. As now we have SHROUD-X going up. This is not the easiest point to take, though, and you can tell a lot right away. They're not going to elect to use the portal to get in onto the point, as we have both Vanguards pushing left room here, Vic.
Be better timing in just trying to come back if you find certain members just falling in this initial fight. The way they try to take this slowly, they have to work around Juker too, flying in the skies. Vision being on that Punisher to try to counter that.
Yeah, Juker is going to be a big point of contention here. I mean, just so much pressure from Torch and damage, and really just placement that he's able to free roam behind that box, use the coverage. They have Invis as well as the extra shields with some animation canceling to boot here as they're looking for Doom. He found Doom. Great eyes there, but we have the internal bond coming from Nook to open things up.
That's a difference maker, because having that Eternal Bomb first before you have Sleep or Micah with any of their strategist ults is what matters. And look how quickly SHROUD-X have now taken the point.
Yeah, Rivals is just such a game of momentum, and after that second map, I just saw SHROUD-X with the confidence they needed to finish this thing out. People say they can't win the big ones. This is looking like a big one as they got the point and they look for the win.
Sabay does have that invisible boundary, though, from Nightmare. They need to restabilize it. The momentum has completely shifted in favor for SHROUD-X. Doom's looking at their position currently. Dance of Butterflies almost activated. Dogman's also about to get the Eye of Agamotto.
Yeah, we're going to have to see Nightmare really pull off the stops without using too much. And here comes, we have Hydron with the Agamotto. He does get the connection, but unfortunately, Fidel coming with the dance and keeping everybody alive as the pressure comes, and they respond with their own Agamotto. The 1, the 2, the pop, and Sleep goes down.
Did not get caught in all of that. Fidel keeping SHROUD-X in this fight. Vision to clean up the rest on aisle 3. Finding Aurora, finding Micah, following up afterwards. It's team fight win after team fight win. And even off the dance of butterflies, finding C4, a slight stagger here.
Oh my goodness, absolute flawless play at the moment, and they're just looking, to get, if they can get the stagger on Human Torch, that'd be massive, even though they're doing a little bit of spying here. Love what they've got. They're going to close off potential the portal right here. They're looking for what path they're taking, and I think they know it. They're going to put the portal there to block that path, which is massive.
Oh, and wasting more time, giving the opportunity for SHROUD-X to close up this gap and also funnel them into that one corridor over to the left.
Oh my gosh, as this is the last bit, the point going 0.99M for the advancement, for the loss. Vision gets the trade with C4 taking him down. The boundary is up, but Sleep takes out Vision. Nuck trading too. Dogman, this is it.
Those strategists up from Nightmare. SHROUD-X have the advantage. Yes, Juker is flying around the skies, does find Doom, but has no sustainability. The Eye of Agamotto coming in from the heavens from Hydron. SHROUD-X, though, now even if they find themselves falling here, Dogman, being the last one alive, still finds Hydron and having the reset available with Fidel as they try to reapproach.
No, the back trying to keep Dogman alive. He's got the Agamotto off, but the last minute push, they get the stagger on Micah. This is it. There's 3 minutes on the clock, but right now they're playing to perfection. Dogman trying to finish it out. Spell victory for his team or not get staggered as we've got the tornadoes coming in from Juker.
All the stall, though, at the perfect time for the Supernova to at least have something here. Juker then finding Doom. The dance off too. Fate of both worlds activated from Fidel. As SHROUD-X trying to play split up, having to disengage out. Yes, you have the time. The music picks up, and so does their hearts, because the way now that Nightmare is holding on to the point on defense, you know they were sitting on the edge of those seats.
Yeah, and it's like they're looking to kind of get back together, but then they're getting a trade, and they stick in the fight. But that was a huge win there for Aurora. There's only 0.99 meters left to get that point. There is still 2 minutes, though, but SHROUD-X out of ultimates. Doom getting close, Vision getting close. We've seen this story before.
That retouch from Nightmare was crazy. The stall from Hydron alone, even after he fell, was huge here versus Dogman, now giving them another fighting chance for these next 2 minutes, 20 seconds approach, and Nightmare have a plethora of ultimates to work with.
Yeah, I mean, Dogman, I definitely understand why he used that Agamotto there. It made sense, trying to clutch it up at the very end. Now they got to rebuild, but Nuck is ready. They're going to get that internal bond. They just did this with. There's the co-op time coming. You've got the Luna Snow and Vision. Can he get the picks needed for the win?
He was getting melted, though. It was Aurora tethering it, preventing that out heal from coming through, taking out the biggest problem from SHROUD-X. They lose out Fidel next, and the scales are literally tipping right now as we say bye to the strategist from Nightmare. Doom being able to get the harassment on the backline. Joker still, though, being a problem, while the rest now from Nightmare holding the front line C4 with the judgment.
It's Dogman again on the point. They got the invisible boundary out, but then they finished the job, wasting the ultimate. Doom, though, did get the pick there on C4. Can he get another one? Yes, he does. Doom going for 3 to try to get the win. It's only 2 on the point as the team stagger in, but the point is closer for Nightmare to get its players inside this map for contention. 1 minute on the clock. Juker going to get eliminated, but Doom, no, is unable to get the finish on the job, and in trade, he's eliminated.
Micah being able to keep Juker alive, so crucial, was trying to get isolated by Doom, then Doom cannot find the mark there. A minute, now less than a minute on the clock after they were just a few pixels away from winning.
Pay attention to the ultimates right now. We have Fidel with a dance, but that's about it on both sides. Aurora is going to have that symbiotic huge bite that Venom has, but outside of that, that will be the 2 things we see. It's a neutral fight, potentially, to claim this map. Let's see who comes out on top.
Vision now leading the way, putting in the pressure. Fidel having the fate of both worlds to be so important. Dude with the dance of butterflies too, as right now SHROUD-X are trying to approach from that slight hybrid high ground to that low ground before trying to contest around the next corner.
Yeah, this is massive. They're actually building up ult charge both. Micah now is going to be online with the fate of both worlds, but Nuck is going to start off with the eternal bond. Vision about to have the final judgment. We're going to see everything come out. The last fireworks, every button pressed, every ability used to advance. Vision gets the first pick there on a big one. Hydron. We have both final judgments coming out at the same time, Vicky.
Both judgments and Hydron being out first means that he cannot build into the Eye of Agamotto. This is even better if you're looking at SHROUD-X. Judgment having the Eye of Agamotto, the follow-up, the combo from Doom and the dance of butterflies. You get the desperate portal. He touches it on time, but the rest of his team have fallen. It's really only Aurora and C4 coming out of the spawn room gates.
Only Hydron portal at the end. Fidel, though, with the finish and victory, has a name, and her name is SHROUD-X as they get the job done.
What a final match. The final fight that went on 3 different resets. It went the distance, and with less than a minute on the clock, SHROUD-X clutch it.
It's poetic. They've been told they can't win the big one. They've won the big one on a big stage as they advanced and Vision blows the smoke from the gun. What an insane effort from both teams. If you're Nightmare, you just hard crushed. It was right there in reaching distance, but SHROUD-X, they win it and they look dominant there, but great defensive performance as we take a look at the final stats. Oh my good gosh, Vision, you're insane.
Vision, you're actually what? 15 final hits, 36k damage. Compare that to both sides here, by the way, in terms of just damage put out here. That was insane. The survivability as well from Micah, despite all of that from Nightmare, still helping out the rest of the team to the best of their potential. But it is SHROUD-X that stay in this tournament, that move on in the elim round.
And I got to shout out Dogman, too. He always seemed to be alive through the madness. And Doomed, yes, some of those, Dance of the Butterflies did not land. But when it needed to, it did. The sword came out, the katana finished the job, and Psylocke and Doomed at the helm was able to get some crucial picks to end things there. Even Hydron getting that portal in at the end, I thought maybe would they lose the same way they did to Nemesis just the round before, Vicky, but they were able to come up. What an insane game of Rivals.
It was hard. It was hard when you have to also consider like the respawn timer when they get close to that finishing line, like just having to navigate with the portal. It was really detrimental when Hydron, I believe, was the first one picked out from Nightmare before coming right back in again with these re-engagements. But I do love how you highlighted Dogman staying alive for a lot of that chaos. It was Vision, though, that was the MVP for a reason. Open things up, usually being the one to get the first pick.
Yeah, they did a good job farming up the ult at the very end there over Nightmare, who was on it. Dell, welcome him in. The man, the myth, the legend. Hey.
Hello.
Insane. No words, Fidel. No words. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've got to ask. You just went against Nemesis. You guys barely lost there on Araco in the upper bracket, right? You come down here, and then you've got a match like that. How do you reset after a loss like that in the upper bracket? And not only that, down a map that we just saw and come back with this momentum. Take me through that.
Well, man, we just gotta like focus on what we do the best, like playing as a team, because sometimes we forget like what we need to do to like win certain like fights, even if we're down, like going early or just talking. Because sometimes like there are people just get quiet and get nervous in the moment, you know. So like right there in the map we just played, it got really hectic. On the second map especially, because now it's like it's do or die and everyone's just calming their hearts out, which I hope we had the first map, but I don't know, it's right now it's hard to speak because it's like I was like talking so much and it's like, I don't know.
That's understandable, man. Like, you guys just had literally, like, I can only imagine your heart's probably also coming out of your chest in those back-to-back, like, last-minute moments of, like, coming alive. You popped off. We're looking at your stats right now. We're highlighting you before we even jumped into the series. I mean, making those adjustments, Vision, man, like, that was crazy. I mean, you talk about having the right forms of communication in very hectic fights like that. Any advice for anyone that finds themselves in an old face-off in their own Marvel Rivals game just to stay alive? How should they prioritize their communication when it comes to talking to their team in moments like that?
Just try to keep like the only way I can say is like keep it where it's important. Like just talk about shit, like stuff that's just important. And try not to like get too caught up on like what you're trying to say, because sometimes you need to listen to, because there's times where it's like everyone wants to do what they want to do and then no one's actually doing anything because no one's listening to each other.
Yeah, so who's talking there? It's got to sound like, we've said it before, like an Eminem rap show. Like there's got to be so much comms happening at the same time in that last fight, right? Like who is that kind of voice of direction, or is it everybody just kind of saying what they're seeing?
Man, it's everyone, but usually I'll be talking the most, and then the next person that comes in to talk is obviously our tanks are talking the most, so I just talk before the crazy stuff starts happening, and then like whoever's ulting will start talking, and then like it goes from there. But pretty much it's almost everyone's talking. Like right at the last fight, it's everyone.
Wild.
Wow. Well, your next team that you guys are going to play off against, now after this incredible performance, you'll be playing off against Techie. How are you guys feeling moving on into that lower bracket? You know, now you're going to be able to fight yourself against another team that just 2-0'd Citadel Gaming.
Well, as long as we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, we should do fine. Like, we did fine. We 2-0'd them earlier. As long as we just play how we're supposed to play, I think it'll go our way.
Yeah, you got that rematchup that you guys just played in that upper bracket to advance. I mean, and, you know, often the unsung heroes, the strategist in the back line, you know, 80K healing this. I mean, you guys have put on some crazy games, and just hats off, give my tip of the cap to Impunity and the way he's played. I was actually talking about that group ban, if we're going to see it, just because the level of group. Were you expecting a group ban potentially for Impunity going into that last map?
I wasn't expecting that ban at all, but luckily we weren't planning to play Groot at the start of the map. At least it wasn't like we're planning to run that Penny stuff, at least on defense. So it was kind of like off guard, but it was like, oh, like it's a little bit better now because now we could just swap to Strange, and like we don't have to swap Dongman off Dongman back to Mag and then swap Imp off Mag type of thing.
Well, listen, man, I know you guys have watched you guys at the MRI. I've gassed you guys a lot. I know you guys want to go celebrate in a team in a Discord called Boss Man's probably waiting. I know he's playing